Hello friends, today I'm going to start new series for the STM32 from zero to hero. So this is our first lecture today. You can see in previous we have discussed so many advanced topics, but from this series I will start totally new video lectures where I will talk about from basic what is microcontroller to versus microprocessor up to the advanced level topic, sensor interface and all this. Okay, so quickly let us discuss what is microcontroller and what is microprocessor. So you have to remember microcontroller is like a built-in system where everything is within a single chip. Okay, so you can consider microcontroller as a small chip, right? If you have seen this chip, then it's like this type of shape. But in the microcontroller, you have CPU, RAM, flash, GPIO, all this within the chip, right? Everything is within this chip. In case of microprocessor, again, it's a chip, but here only processing unit is there. So microprocessor needs system. It needs external system like RAM, SSD, operating system, right? So if you will simply describe this in a single word, you can say this is a built-in system, microcontroller, while processor is a system which needs systems, right? It's not a complete system, but it needs some external systems. Now, let us discuss with this block diagram. So microprocessor, you can see here, this one example is there, F767ZI. And here you can see microcontroller, we have CPU, we have flash, RAM, GPIO, ADC. These all are different modules. Like we will discuss about each in different videos in future. But for now, just consider that these all are small modules and each module is having its own application, its own requirement, right? Let us say flash, where we will store the code. Okay, RAM, we all know it's like a cache memory, right? Where current running variables will be stored. Then we have ADC. So if your sensor is analog, you have to convert it into digital. Then we have UART, we have SPI. These are different serial interface where you can send the data, you can receive the data. So microcontroller is having all these things within the chip. Okay. However, the processor, its example is Intel i5, i7, right? Snapdragon. You must heard about this. So these are the microprocessor where CPU only is there on the chip. Now it can run up to gigahertz frequency, right? That is also different thing which we have to consider. The microcontroller cannot run in this type of high speed, right? Microprocessor can run up to megahertz, some megahertz. But here you can see processor is having this advantage. It's very powerful, but useless alone. So you have to use external system like RAM, SSD, operating system, power supply, right? And if you compare this in terms of cost, then controllers are cheap compared to microprocessor. But again, we cannot say microcontrollers are powerful and best compared to processor because each one of them is having their own applicability, right? Their own applications. Like as I told you earlier that microprocessor can run up to gigahertz, right? But microcontroller cannot. Microprocessor can run up to gigahertz, but microcontroller cannot. So for this type of high speed operation, for this type of general purpose system, processor are best. But for small modules, small embedded system, microcontrollers are best. Okay. So they work together. They all have their own advantage, their own application. And if you will connect this with our current exercise, then in future I will write STM32's code on Cube IDE. But again, that Cube IDE is installed on my laptop, but my laptop is running on processor, right? So my laptop is having processor. I have installed Cube IDE as an application. I will write the code. I will compile it. I will upload it on my microcontroller, and then microcontroller independently work, right? So you can see all things are connected and they work together. Okay. So we cannot say that this is good and this is bad. They all are having their own advantages. But for now, for this series, you have to understand what is microcontroller and what these all modules are. Okay. Now, real life analogies. So you can consider microcontroller as a Swiss Army knife, right? Everything is one package. You will have many things within that package and open and use, no extra tool needed, complete self-sufficient, right? You can use it independently. But in case of microprocessor, it's like a safe knife, right? In kitchen, you have sharp knife, but it is useless until and unless you have full kitchen to work around it, right? So this is what the key difference between controller and processor. Again, this is just a real life analogy to explain you, right, the difference. Now, key difference. So in terms of hardware, as we already discussed, everything is built in. Here, it needs external parts. Okay. Now, power. So this can work on milliwatt. This need watts. So milliwatt means what? You must heard that many small devices work over month with using small batteries. Let us say your TV remote or your AC remote, right? because it consumes very less power. So it can run years on battery, but your laptop cannot, your phone cannot, right? Because processor need power, more power compared to microcontroller, right? And that's why in processor you need chargers. Now startup. So microcontroller can start in microsecond instantly. Why? Because no operating system is there. Okay. In future videos, we will directly write application, load it on processor controller. You will see without any operating system, our code directly talk with the hardware. But in case of processor, you must have operating system, and because of operating system, you need a booting process, and that's why it takes second in startup, right? So when first time you start this, your laptop, even it takes some seconds to start up. But controller, it will start instantly within a microsecond because operating system level is not there, no OS, right? So in program, you can directly write in C. No need to use any operating system. Directly your C program talk with the controller. In case of microprocessor, you have Linux and Windows. And again, as I told you earlier, this is in Indian rupees. So the price of microprocessor is high compared to microcontroller, because this is specifically for dedicated system. This type of chip is having their own usability, their own applicability, right? And that's why they are cheap compared to the processor. Processor is more general purpose. Okay. Now real world example. So here you can see we have two categories. So TV remote fall in microcontroller category, washing machine, car engine, right? Hospital monitor. So you must heard about this heart rate monitoring, alarm, right? All these are fall in this category, microcontroller. And our this series STM32 is also from this world, microcontroller world, right? For this code, you will build all this system on this chip, microcontroller, which is our STM32. And if you heard about Arduino, which is very basic, that is also a microcontroller. In processor, your PC or laptop, right? Smartphone, in smartphone also, Snapdragon chips are there. You must heard about this, right? This all processor, web servers, AI training servers, these different categories for the microprocessor unit. And your laptop where we will use this cube IDE. Okay, so this is real world example. And final verdict is your microcontroller, it's like a smartphone. Okay, now don't think about smartphone's internal system, because this is not the aim of giving this example. Your microcontroller is like a full system, right? All in one chip, control hardware, run C code. It's like a Swiss Army knife, complete self-sufficient. But your processor is like a laptop where you need external systems. It's like a safe knife, right? But again, each having its own applicability, right? Its own advantages. I must use this word that each system is used in specific areas only, right? You cannot interchange it. So this is what for this first episode. Now in next we will discuss about different programming languages.